We're welcome. Today, we complete the chakra series. And today, we're going to explore the seventh chakra, the crown chakra. And so, before we do that, let's just re-highlight where we are. The chakras are energy centers that help to regulate all the body processes, from the organ functioning to the immune system, and our emotions. So we understand that the body is total energy, and the chakras are the energy centers in it, and each of them has a specific function. There are 7 chakras. There's actually more than 7, but there are 7 major chakras in the system. And they're positioned throughout the body from the base, at the base of the spine, all the way up to the very top of our head. Each chakra, has its own vibrational frequency, color, and governs different parts of our body. And when we understand that, we can then do self-diagnosis. When we feel a blockage and it's related to our pituitary gland, know which chakra we can turn to and understand that we may have a blockage of energy there. And then, if we do the work to clear that blockage of energy, oh my God, then we can release the physical illness because we've cleared the energy that is present there. Since we're all energy, the ability to manage our chakra centers is critical so that we can function in a state of homeostasis. Homeostasis means that the body's in balance. When the body's in balance, there's natural healing. When the body's not in balance, that's when we're in a state of disease. The divine sees everything as in balance. And the fact of the matter is, despite what may be happening in the world today, it doesn't matter because the universe is in balance. Because if the universe were not in balance, it would destroy itself. So rest assured, if the universe is still around, it just hasn't destroyed itself yet. And it won't. It won't because it's balanced. We just, from our limited perspective, don't see that. So today, we're going to talk about the crown chakra. The crown chakra is the 7th chakra. It is located at the top of our head, or slightly above the head. A lot of times you'll notice that a lot of teachers will tell you it's right here at the crown. Other teachers will say it's slightly above. Would represent what? The divine? That's what this is. This is the connection to the divine in us. It represents the color of white or violet. Those are the colors that are designated as a divine. When you really think about it, violet, the deep violet is what all spirituality says is divine. It's the what? The color on the other end of the rainbow. Doesn't the rainbow normally start with red? And then it modifies itself up until it's the dark, dark purple. White is what? White is the combination of all colors together. So what does that mean? That means a symbol of oneness. And so we understand. Then we're talking about the divine nature of who we are. It is the energy associated with the spirituality or divine connection or the experience of oneness. When we are in a deep state of meditation, we are in the crown chakra. And what's happened is the energy that starts at the base of the chakras is able to freely move up the chakra series. It gets regenerated up in the chakra. The crown chakra, and then the crown chakra allows that energy to move back down through the body. So what's happening? You have an actual circular effect going up and down the energy centers. And when that circular effect, you're actually detoxifying your body. Do you realize that? Your energy is being detoxified. The divine comes in. It moves on down. As it's moving down, it's building that energy through each of the bottom 6 chakras. And then, as it moves up, it's taking away all the impure energy, moving it out. So it's always about a flow. It's always about circulation. Whether we're talking about chakras, whether we're talking about our assimilation system, our elimination system, whether we're talking about the circulation of our blood, whether we're talking about the circulation of air into our bodies. There's always this, and where there's blockage, that causes dis-ease. So if our energy is blocked, that stops the energy from free flowing through the chakras, and that causes us a lot of physical and mental discomfort. It allows us to go beyond the materialistic and connect with the infinite or the divine. You see, visualizing it above us, it means that we're able to go up and visualize beyond the body because this chakra shines upward. It doesn't shine downward, it shines upward, because it's going upward to the greaterness of who we are. It's not that the divine is outside of us, But we're saying the divine is more than who we are. So we use the symbol of up to symbolize it, even though it's not the truth. The divine is everywhere, but the realization of the divine, that's what this is symbolic of. Having an open crown chakra brings spiritual insight, also allows for mindfulness and the ability to live one's life with balance and confidence. Because remember, we talk about this all the time, that when we see through the eyes of the divine, we see life in perfect balance. We do not see a one-sided life. It is only the human, or the energy that is blocked, that sees one side, and the blockage always occurs from a one-sided life. The divine sees the perspective in its fullness and knows that it is all good and that it's all in balance. That's the journey. To get there, it's moments that we have. It's not like it's going to be for 10 minutes. It's a moment that we have that connection, and that moment has such a vibrational charge that it rejuvenates us. Just that connection. For that much, we are rejuvenated by that realization. So the chakras associated with this have the following behavioral characteristics. When you have the crown chakra in balance, you are conscious of life. You see that you are not your mind, you are not your body, you are not your emotions, but you're everything. You're so much more than that. It also sees a higher level of awareness. You become more aware. You can look through the illusion that life is and see and feel the truth. It's a connection to the infinite. It's a connection to knowing I am so much more than what I am. And that feeling of connection is undescribable. There are no words that you can put. When someone tells you, I felt the divine and this is what it felt like, look at them and say thank you. And in your mind, you know it wasn't there. How do you define an experience of infinite? It's impossible. But here's what you can do. You can know it. And when you know it, you don't need to define it. You just experience it and it is enough. You see, the ego wants to define. The ego wants to define it so it can share it. The truth of who you are just wants to experience itself. Do you notice what I said? The truth of who you are just wants to experience itself. And you notice I did not say he or she, because it is not a man, it is not a woman. That's anthropomorphizing this infinite intelligence, giving it human qualities. That's not what it is. It is infinite. It has both a divine feminine and a divine masculine. And when they come together, it's a balanced it. Isn't that wonderful? Someone says, hey, there's Cousin It, from what was that movie, The Addams Family? Cousin It was always in balance. I doubt that. The ability to see the bigger picture. So many times our ego gets us to see only one side. This is what's happening in my spouse's life and it's miserable. When you're connected in your crown chakra, you can see that she is being challenged and he is being challenged and equally supported in the exact same moment. The divine does not see challenge separately from support or support separately from challenge. It sees them both present simultaneously. That's a balanced approach to seeing life. It's freedom from all human limitations. What are his human constructs? The ego says, I can do this, I can't do that. The divine says, I have no obstacles, I can do anything. The more we tap into the infinite nature, the greater our experience of life is. The more we sit in our human nature, we make excuses as to why we can't have something, why we can't do something, why we can't experience it. So many people come to me, Lee, you don't understand. I've had horrific relationships. I can't find a soulmate. That's the human mind justifying limitation. The divine mind says, in any moment, you can reconnect with me. And when you reconnect with me, you can connect with the Emmy in someone else. And when you have that connection, that's special, it also is a connection with all of life. It's the ability to see that we are individualized and yet we're connected. The same life force that's breathing is the life force that breathes you, that breathes the animals, that breathes the plant, that breathes the planet, that breathes the solar system. It's the same energy. And when we can realize that, we understand oneness. And it's the ability to experience oneness, which is undefinable. It cannot be defined. So I just share that with you. Don't go looking for this experience. Allow the experience to come. and simply be in it without worrying being about how to share it. You don't need to share your experience because people only get what they experience. To get that, people only get what they experience. They'll never get what you experience. Different perspectives behind there. So what happens when the crown chakra is out of balance? Well, the first thing, you have a disconnection with life. You hear this all the time with people that are suffering from mental issues. They feel disconnected from life. When you're sick, what happens? You want to disconnect from life, don't you? So that means you're not balanced. You're not seeing life through the eyes of the infinite. You're seeing life through the human eye. It's a feeling of disconnection with the body. We don't feel our body. We become disconnected with our body. I don't know what my body feels like anymore. God, you should know your body. Your body is your greatest source. I love my body. It allows me to experience life. It's also a feeling of disconnection with earthly matters, a disconnection with everyday living. A lot of people go off into the ethers, and they just become disconnected with life itself. No, the divine is both present in human form and present in divine form, and it honors both. There's the balance of both. It's not one or the other. And so many times people want to run away to an ashram and forget their body. When you forget your body, you're forgetting why you're here. You're here to experience life in its fullness, and you're here to be the man or woman who will have that experience. It's also about when you're blocked, you're living in your head. How many people will talk your ear off about what's going on? The second they're talking your ear off, you know they're not tapped in. You know they're not tapped in. It's okay. We don't knock that they're not tapped in. That's just where they are in their journey. But we have to understand there's no need arguing with them because you're arguing at the human level, not at the divine level. And the divine level never argues. The divine level only sees what? Truth. Pure connection. Pure oneness in every moment, despite what the illusion is that the person might be having. And the having of what they're having is real to them. It's not real to you until you buy in. When you buy in, then you absorb their experience. I'm going to tell you that's painful. I used to do that a lot, and sometimes I still do. And it hurts. And then I realize, whoa, separate. I'm not responsible for my son's or wife's or granddaughter's or sister's experience, or my community members. They are. I can empathize, and I can be a light, and guide them as they find and recover the connection that they're seeking. Being closed-minded. If you're not open to new ideas, you're blocked, because the divine is infinite. There's infinite ideas up there. There's no right way. There's infinite ways. There's not the conservative way, or the liberal way. There's infinite ways. Also, obsessive attachment to spiritual matters. There are people who are obsessed with spirituality. Spirituality is being in the natural flow of life. It's not being obsessed with meditating 20 hours a day. It's not being obsessed with affirmations. It's doing the things that allow you the connection and the ability to experience both oneness and duality of human form, and realize that we go back and forth in that journey in our consciousness. We go back and forth. And when we realize we go back and forth, we're in the flow. And we don't get attached to it. One way or the other, we don't get attached, but we appreciate every moment of life because we realize it's all good, because it's all God. How can the imbalanced chakra affect you? First off, depression. What is depression? Having unrealistic expectations. What are unrealistic expectations? Having an unrealistic expectation set by you or by others that you think you have to meet in order to be perfect. You're already perfect. Set expectations for yourself that are about you becoming more, and then just stair-step it, one step at a time. Build an expectation. I'm going to take the next step. What am I going to do after that? I'm going to take the next step. How am I going to know? Infinite wisdom within me, because my energy centers are unblocked, is going to guide me. So I never pray for end result. I pray what's the next step as I become the greater Lee. And that's in all areas of life, whether it's spiritually, whether it's financially, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in health and well-being, or whether it's in career. I define life into 5 areas, and I know that in every moment I'm divinely guided, and I listen for that guidance because the energy flowing will give you that. It'll also be in delusion. When you're not balanced, what happens? You become delusional. You see life unrealistically. And then, when you see life unrealistically, we tend to create what's it called? We embellish it. We may have a negative situation, and because we're so associated with that negative feeling we've had before, we embellish that feeling. We actually create it bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we also do that on the good side, we will imbalance the good bigger than it is. And then when the next good comes along, that's really better, but we haven't embellished it yet. We go, well, crap, how come I'm not here? That happens a lot to us. If we're in a current relationship and for some reason we reflect back to a prior relationship where it was extremely good. You ever have that feeling when you were remember when you were really young? And you were in that deep infatuation stage. It was like your first real relation. And I mean, you were just frigging flying. And now you've been married like me, going on 48 years. You can't take what you feel at 48 and go back and compare against infatuation. That's setting an unrealistic goal for the relationship. But you can set a realistic goal that today is a deeper connection. It's a deeper sense of oneness. It's a more mature embodying of allness. It's not seeing just the good in your partner, but it's seeing both sides and being able to say, I not only accept the good, but I accept all of you. That's a divine relationship. That's a relationship that has the ability to last. It's also neurological disorders. If you do not see it from the divine, you will have, it says, neurological problems. You will have the inability to sleep. Why? You're not seeing life in balance. You're focusing on everything that's going wrong, or you're too excited about what's going right, that your mind can't just be still and go into the stillness. That's one of the reasons why gratitude, as you go to bed, is the greatest spiritual practice. Because if you start giving thanks for everything in your day, not just good things, but everything in your day, you bring your mind to balance and you go to sleep and you sleep peacefully. The pineal gland and thyroid disorders, those glands are particularly affected by this. They emit a lot of hormones in your system that keep you in balance. I noticed that when I started getting into the chakra thing, my testosterone went up. More balance. I'm not thinking like an old person. I'm thinking like a young person. When I think like a young person, the body responds to the younger Lee, not the other Lee. Headaches and migraines, obviously. Here's where the chakra is. So if it's going to demonstrate in the symbol, it's going to be in the area where that energy center is. Chronic fatigue. You're tired. Why? Because you're fighting against the natural flow of life. You're fighting the divine flow, which is going downstream, not paddling upstream. If you're paddling upstream down up the river, you're going to be fatigued. If you're going downstream, you just put your oar in and you guide yourself down. You let the current of life take you. And the current of life will guide you which way to steer on the river so that you go the smoothest path. Obsessed with greed and materialism. Because if you're not focusing from the divine perspective, you're into the material or human perspective so deeply that naturally greed comes out. And I think that's where the planet is right now. I think there's an overfocus on the materialism and the greed. And I think a lot of what's transferring is that, hey, wake up to the reality, come back to balance. And when we collectively come back to balance, there will be a healing. Healing tips for the chakra. Meditate. Go into the stillness. Be still and know I am. Just be still. Second tip, meditate. Can't say this enough. Meditation takes you into the divine. It takes you into the allness. It's a whiteboard of your life that has nothing on it. The second there's a memory on that whiteboard, you're out of the divine. You're into the ego. So you're always clearing the memories of life which take you out of the experience of allness. Third, meditate again. I can't stress meditation enough. This is where you're connecting to the divine. The third one is, they say some aromatherapy can be beneficial. There's aromatherapy that benefits the clearing of this energy center. Most yoga poses or many yoga poses will help you clear the energy and the flow there. Affirmations, I am statements. I am connected to all of life. I am an individualized expression of the one life. I am pure love demonstrating in this world right now. My life is in perfect balance. All of those things are tapping into the oneness. When you repeat those enough, it becomes the consciousness from which you operate, which takes you into a state which is connected to the allness and oneness that is God. And again, the last one, meditate. I can't stress that enough. And so we've been doing each and every week, we come into the aspect of what is a chakra clearing meditation. And this is the final piece. And if you go back to the others, you'll see that we have addressed each of the chakras and we've given you a practice. So here in this one is to put your attention on your crown chakra. Surround it with a violet light right here, a violet light or a white light. See the light spinning. For a woman, it's clockwise. For a man on the chakra, it's counterclockwise. So you see that light, clockwise or counterclockwise, spinning. Here it's going like this. It's not going up here like this. It's going like this, okay? While seeing that, you repeat the mantra. Aim, Harim, Shreem, Shri, Matri, Nama, You notice that with the sixth chakra, it was Om, O-M. This is the one A-E-M. Those are primordial sounds. A-U-M, that's the whole being. Being in balance, and once you do this, let's say you have that thing where you're not connected to life, you're not connected to your higher source. Just repeat the mantra. The mantra is in Sanskrit. There's a vibration to the words. The seeing it there, the sounding of it there, causes your body to go into a different energetic, which causes the body to clear and to open the chakra. So I invite you now to go pull the mantras from each of the prior 6 chakras. Put it together into this. Take you 10 minutes on a daily basis to clear all 7 chakras, and when you do that daily, you start to bring your body into a state of energetic balance, and you will start to free yourself from all the conditions that might be affecting others, but you will be different, because you are connected, tapped into divine energy. I wish you well on your journey. Have a great day. I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message.